I'm about to drop a bomb on you, Artosis. Are you ready?
What are you, bomber?
No, seriously.
You're going to create an idea for me? What, you creator?
Dude, what if they had island maps, but they just had different units for each race? Like, just so it was engineered for just island play?
You could build, like, a seaport or something and make, like ships that, like, sail over.
Yeah, man, I think that was a little,
It would be kind of like Warcraft 2, where you remember on like maps with water.
The turtles that the orcs had? Those things were sick.
Yeah, those were sick, actually. Those were fun.
Did you play humans or orcs in Warcraft 2?
Humans, of course.
What?
Yeah.
You play out of the orcs, man. They're way cooler.
Well, the orcs were more powerful. I know that you like to play the imbalanced race, but it was all about the
pretty
knights.
good.
It was all about the knights.
Remember the first time I played Warcraft 2 against one of my friends, and I had no idea how good Bloodlust was. I had no clue it was that strong. And I just, you hear that, like, them powering up the ogre mages.
Good times.
And they just beat down your farms. Yeah,
I love that game. That game was so good.
That was back when I was super young, and I didn't quite understand the concept of, like, yes, there is strategy in RTS games, but you also just have to make a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I will get one sea turtle and park it over by his island. I'm like,
brilliant.
It doesn't happen. Like, this guy's already made like 50 grunts. Were the archers actually good in War 2?
You know, here's the thing. I only played against computers, so I have no idea what was actually good and bad. I watched some pro matches and stuff, or read some pro battle reports.
I was going to say,
couldn't really watch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But
I used to have to read battle reports too. That was before replays.
BattleReports.com, man. I think that site's still around.
I wonder.
Johnny Vegas is probably still sitting over there doing battle reports and typing on the forums. All right, so we're getting to the point where it's starting to become a little bit more interesting. Everyone's just been, because they both expand so quickly, building, you know, their regular structures, getting a few units out to make sure they can't be caught off guard or anything like that. But it's normalizing a bit more. We see that Bomber's taking a little bit more of a defensive route as far as Creator goes, getting double forges, going into Colossus Tech, and of course he already has his Mothership Core. And with that Mothership Core, he's going to be pretty safe against anything that can happen right now.
Yeah. So, again, pretty conservative play by both these guys. I do like Creator kind of sticking with his roots here and just playing it safe. Yeah. So here's a question for you while we're still waiting for this game to develop.
Okay.
You know, they're both building up. What was, or what still is, the hardest thing for you to adapt to in Hearts? You know, because it is
in Heart of the Swarm?
Yeah, get used to.
As opposed to Wings of Liberty, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because for me, it took me a long time to get used to the fact that I actually had, I could use my Nexus as a weapon to defend.
Yeah,
it just it was not registering with me. It was not a reflex to turn that on.
I think what's the hardest for me to deal with now, I think I've adapted to everything better than to Mutalisks, the new Mutalisk. I think right now for me that's the thing I'm having the most trouble with, because how much faster they are and how quickly they regenerate. Just overall, I've had a harder time adapting that than to anything else, I would say.
That makes sense. That's a tough one. Medevac's also a little bit tougher to get used to.
I actually got used to those pretty quickly.
Really?
Yeah, I've always been pretty defensive and pretty anti-drop, so...
Yeah, you like to turtle a lot in RTS games.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Which is pretty much probably the best way to play.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the turtle. Now, we got some more Medevacs coming out here. Again, very defensive play. Nobody wants to end this game right away. There's too much on the line, especially in a group this tough. You know?
Yeah.
You go down to the losers, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, you know, Creator is going to have his 2-2 and his Twilight up, so he's going to be getting, no doubt, Charge and or Blink quite quickly, getting that Templar Archives up as well.
Blink wouldn't hurt, actually, if he's defending.
Yeah. Notice he is getting 3 Observers very quickly each game, just to make sure that he can see any incoming drops.
Smart.
But the thing is, you know, Bomber's playing for the longer game too, with his much quicker third command center than what we've seen previously, but still getting 5 Raxes before that. But with as fast an expansion he got this time, it's not as aggressive as his stance was in Game 1.
All right, Chrono in here on the Forges. He's going to be doing that non-stop. Really nice defensive play. He doesn't want any drops getting in here whatsoever. Still no Blink yet, though.
Yeah, getting the charge first. I like that, actually, because of how big his macro is. And, you know, he's pretty solid. I don't think anything's going to happen to Creator here. He's got a good spread of units in his main. He's got a solid group in the natural. And let's not forget the Mothership Core. That's going to help out wherever attacks come.
Yeah, no, the Mothership Core is just so handy. Now we have the 4 medevac drop. This is a very common timing. You can usually get it out a little bit quicker.
You know,
about 10:25-ish.
Certainly, if you're going specifically for this, it can be a bit quicker. But you know what? If he gets around into the right little edge and actually unloads these, even though there's a lot of units in the main, if he can unload, then it's still fine.
If you can boost and just go over, maybe.
That's a lot of units there. Not quite going to be able to do it.
Better safe than sorry.
Certainly, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, third base going up for Creator. Bomber does have his third command center done.
That'll be landed momentarily.
And we have a lot of Vikings coming up once again for Bomber. Is he going to do another SCV pull strategy?
We'll see. Supplies are pretty even, about a 10 supply lead here for Bomber, which is pretty typical. Bomber's normally the guy ahead in supply.
Yeah.
There's some ghosts coming out here.
And as Legend just pointed out, we do have a big supply cap right now for Creator, so quite annoying on his part to have to put up with that. It had to build a lot of pylons and whatnot, so he's a little bit down on units from where he should be.
Looks like he might even try to go for the drop again. I mean, Protoss is on 3 base. It's pretty doable just dropping on him.
Yeah, if you put a lot of pressure in one area, you're very likely to be able to drop somewhere else. So let's take a look. He is looking like he wants to do some pressure over here, or at least a frontal attack. Is that an SCV train?
That is SCVs. SCV
man.
train.
Well,
this
Bomber,
is a glitch in the Matrix right now.
I think Bomber knows the strategy he likes.
Yep.
Okay, he sees where the units are. He sees units being warped in up there at the third base, so he may actually end up hitting the natural, and in fact, here he goes. Nexus Cannon does go down. He's got to be careful. He's got to keep SCVs in the front.
All right, the SCVs are coming out. The Ghost. EMP once.
Very good EMP.
Templar.
He got 2 of the Templar as well as some Sentries and Immortal. And here we go. The charge does come up, but the charge actually hitting the wrong units there, going after the Ghosts.
He's doing a really good job keeping his army separated.
Yeah, he really is.
He might just go for the second here. He scans, he sees the distance.
And, oh my god, look at the position he's going to get into. Unless there's a 6 Storm coming up tasteless, then Bomber's in a great spot.
Oh man, that might be it here for him. There's almost no way to recover from this. He does get a storm up, but the rest of them were taken out. And Bomber playing brilliantly, using those minerals to make it impossible for the Zealots to do the damage they need to do.
An army this heavy in Zealots has no chance of getting back there cost efficiently. It looks like he will break his way in, but at what cost?
Yeah, no kidding. And now he's going to take out this Nexus, and this is really bad. This is like the point of no return here. Look at that. And he's going to get these sentries.
Oh,
no, he's not.
Almost. There you go. He got one. But yeah, he's killed off 2 Nexus. He killed off the Colossi. This has been really great for Bomber. But don't forget, he lost a lot of SCVs. The one saving grace is that, well, Creator only has 1 Nexus, so the economy is still better for Bomber.
Yeah. Basically, guys, Bomber just has to regroup, make another army, and probably hit whenever the Nexus is finished rebuilding. Kill him again. Just keep Creator buried. How about that, man? Our first day here, casting Heart of the Swarm at GSL. We see Bomber pull SCVs in 3 games in a row.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, whatever it takes to win.
He likes what he likes.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, he's welcome to do it. Well, we do have a big drop being picked up at the moment. He's scanned to make sure there's no observer, but an observer did just see him right there. He's going to have to be very careful starting to send units to the main base immediately. He's going to move these High Templars down, trying to catch with feedbacks anything he possibly can.
Yeah,
it's a very smart move.
Here.
They couldn't get back quick enough anyways.
Oh, I think he's going to be just out of range.
Yeah,
look at that.
Good move by Bomber. And once he sees that, he's going to go up here. Look at that.
Nice.
And he might even get another feedback. Nope, not quite. Well, goodbye, Archon. You were useful.
And now just he's going to get these Immortals. Right now, Creator a little bit too spread out, actually.
He is indeed. Just a bit too far out here right now. And Bomber's going to load up and get out. But that was reasonably efficient other than the feedbacks. You know, he did pick off some important units.
I think he's actually going to do it. He's going to go for the main.
Yeah, it looks like it. And another attack looks like it's going to be going up towards the natural. If he can draw all the units in the main, then that natural attack could be very nice.
All right, he pulls back again, really utilizing the medevac speed boost here. And again, behind the minerals, so these zealots can't do the amount of damage they would want to do. They can't be optimized. Oh my God, into Colossus. Stimming closing in here. Everything Protoss is going to be destroyed here.
That's right. Creator's starting to fall apart a bit. Bomber, even on a very low economy, keeping up this aggression. And Creator just spending so much time spread out when he doesn't even have that third Nexus. It's just not working out for him.
Look at this kiting on multiple fronts. GG Bomber. Damn, son. The well-deserved winner here. Going on to the winner's stage here at Group A at GSL Code S.
Well, this is going to be a pretty awesome match coming up next. RorO against Bomber. Bomber has been a Zerg killer, and Life is on his team, so he gets the best practice in the entire world.
That's pretty true. Wow. You can see Creator not happy about that loss. Probably had high hopes going into here, especially after he won Game 1. He probably thought in Game 1, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're going to try to SCV all in me? That's not going to work. And then it works the next 2 times.
It certainly did. Bomber's build very practiced. It was so similar each game. You know, he even got the 3 ghosts every single time. Pretty cool to see. But Creator drops down a fight against Crazy. Who do you think will take that? I'm feeling actually Creator.
I think Creator.
I think so.
Well,
that's my feeling.
You know, we haven't seen enough of Crazy, but we've seen a lot of results from Creator over the past, years. So I'm going to go with Creator. If Crazy makes it up, that's fine too. I love seeing new players in the tournaments as well, or get farther in the tournament. We're going to go to a quick little break, and when we return, we're going to go on to the winner's match of today's GSL Code S Group A.
SK, MC, 웅진 스타즈, LGIM 요다, MVP 동래구.
thought I forgot the warmth of your touch. Lost in mistreated, emotional boundaries that hurt me too much. Beyond me somehow. Tell me what you're feeling, is it what I'm feeling? Tell me what you're feeling, am I feeling it too? Yeah. The scars are now healing. The scars are now healing. It's all thanks to you. Remembering the journey, the maze of emotion that's pulling me through. Invigorate me. Tell me what you're feeling, is it what I'm feeling? Tell me what you're feeling, am I feeling it too? Can you help me see I'm lost without you? Only time will tell if it's the right thing to do. Fate has no disguise, and it's drawing me near. I'm so satisfied, now there is no turning back. Tell me what you're feeling, is it what I'm feeling? Tell me what you're feeling, am I feeling it too?
Can't seem to figure it out. My mind is a mess and giving me a shadow of a doubt. But I feel empowered by where I want to be. I want to be here.
To see who I am, I'm invisible.
Day 1 of the GSL Codas, our first Codas with Heart of the Swarm. How you doing, Artosis?
Well, Tasteless, this is almost the happiest day of my life.
Why is that?
Not quite the happiest day, but almost the happiest day.
Yeah.
Well, because we're finally back at Codas. Heart of the Swarm is out. It's fantastically awesome. Best thing ever. But number one, above all, Mike Morahan got me a vegetarian pizza.
Yeah, you got a vegetarian pizza.
They brought me up 3 slices, which is exactly how many slices I wanted.
Yes.
They are fantastic. The people at Blizzard, I swear to God.
They patched that.
Look,
they patched that pizza
They are
problem.
so
Artosis.
wonderful. Yes, they certainly
They did.
The balance has been restored. I have pizza. I'm no longer hungry. I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to cast next game.
Yeah, this next one's going to be a lot of fun, too. We're going to have RorO against Bomber.
Yeah.
We're gonna get, like, all the matchups.
That is
It's going to be great.
almost, not PvP.
No PvP.
I'm like, how would we? I'm like, really?
We
Whoa.
have to have 6-man groups.
Yeah.
No, but this is great now. So we've
Well,
already done a CBC, then we did a PvT, now we're going to do a TVZ.
Yeah. It's great.
Setting the tone.
In fact, the groups are really well done for this first round, where we get a lot of variety each day.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Now remember, guys, the winner gets out of this group and goes on to the round of 16. The first Heart of the Swarm player to go to the round of 16, GSL Codas.
A very important thing to do, Tasteless. Aklon Wastes, our first map. Now, I'm really interested to see what RorO is going to bring to this matchup because, you know, overall, Terrans really like the Reaper. They like to go Reaper into Reaper Hellion a lot of the time.
Sure.
There's a lot of Widowmine usage instead of Siege tanks nowadays. How well will RorO deal with these things?
It's a good question. I mean, you know, one thing that's cool about this, guys, is that we're sort of learning along with you. As we don't really know exactly what pro games are going to do. The metagame is at its infancy here. All right, so get ready. We're going head-to-head here with RorO up against Bomber. The winner goes on to the round of 16 in the GSL Codas. In the bottom right, we have our Zerg player, the last Wings of Liberty GSL Codas champion. He is
삼성카 RorO.
Low, you didn't.
It's
I don't
such a
know.
bad joke.
It's really hard to make good jokes with his name. Yep. We had the row your boat gently through Codas, but that was about it. In the upper left, in the red, we have our Terran player winning with those SCVLNs. How will he play against Zerg? We're going to find out soon. He is
StarTale Bomber.
Wouldn't it be funny if he just went 2 racks and SCV all in?
That would be funny.
He's like, I'm making my way through the GSL Codes bit by bit. With a pinky in his mouth at that time.
That is cute. By the way, guys, definitely come out to our studio. I'm going to keep plugging that for a little while. Next few days we got in here.
yeah,
This studio is so bomb.
We had so many people visit
It's like
the
Cat's
Mockdong
Cradle.
studio, but this is so much better, and you're going to have a better day coming here because this is
Well,
a really great area of
I
Seoul.
actually feel bad for people that just recently came to the Mockdong studio because we get a lot of tourists that come in here.
Yeah.
I feel bad for people that came to that and saw that and thought, wow, that was cool. And now we're down here in like a really sexy part of Seoul.
Well, you know, they have to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
If you came to Korea once, I bet you probably want to come again. All right, so we do see a pretty quick gas being taken here by RorO, so
Right.
very likely he's just going to get speed quickly. And there's a few different ways that you can deal with a Reaper opening, which is probably the most common opening really right now in TVZ. And one of those ways is to get quick speedlings. Of course, you can try to rely on drone micro and queens, but the speedlings, they're going to give you a bit more map presence, and I feel personally you're going to feel a little bit more safe overall once you have that speed out so early.
Well, this map, this was introduced a little while ago in Wings of Liberty. I think it's actually a great map.
I like this map. It's
a lot
pretty
of
fun,
to play.
actually.
Some of the new maps I'm always kind of reluctant on, but this map I got into right away. I think it's really cool.
I really like the watchtowers.
Yeah.
Because they had 2 more in the middle before, which were way overpowered, so they phased those out.
Well, there was no element of surprise.
No. Yeah, but the watchtowers on the side are actually still useful and worth battling over a little bit, but they don't like. I just really like them. It's good.
All right, the Reaper's coming here now. He's going to be able to kite those Zerglings.
Yeah.
But probably not do a ton of damage. So.
No. In fact, did he even make a Sangha Reaper? I don't think he did. This one's just going to be for some scouting.
I think this is really just for map control, too.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that he can actually move around the map freely while he expands.
As speed does get finished, though, that Reaper is basically going to be useless. Zerglings with speed are quicker than Reapers, even off creeps. So it just becomes something you kind of throw in with your Hellion group, or you just scout with until it dies.
Right. Suppose you could put him in a watchtower or something, I guess. But, you know, then he could probably run away in time before he gets spotted. But, yeah, whatever. So we're going to have reactored Hellions here. Yeah, a lot of the way the Bomber's playing is very Wings of Liberty-esque.
That's true. It's true.
It's not a massive shift.
Well, we'll see if he goes into Widow Mines in a little bit, because normally what you see right now is, for instance, this build is pretty standard as far as Heart of the Swarm goes. But after he gets the number of Hellions he wants out for his map control and his harassment and whatnot, if he switches into Widow Mines, then, you know, this is pretty standard for Heart of the Swarm.
Let me tell you, I think Widow Mines is one of the hardest. Oh, hold on, he's going to get it.
Oh,
nice.
Good try.
No, I think Widow Mines has been one of the hardest things to adapt to playing against.
It's definitely different.
It's so hard. Even if you know they have Widow Mines, just getting used to dealing with them, moving around the map with caution, not misclicking. You know, you can even have games where there's a Widow Mine in your base. Have you ever had a game where there's a Widow Mine in your base you didn't quite notice right away?
Yeah, that happens every now and then.
What?
That can be rough.
I swear to God, I had sentries a while ago, and they just keep getting blown up by these Widow Mines.
Well, the Reaper is still doing a good job scouting around, despite the fact that there are Speedlings out. The Hellions being shown, just 4 of them. He's stopped his production at this point, and adding 2 engineering bays right away. He wants to get those upgrades going because, well, he's going to produce more Marines than you're likely ever to really see anywhere.
True that. And the Hellions are pairing quite well with the Reapers, just keeping that Reaper alive so he can keep trying to control those watchtowers. Those evolution chambers are almost done.
Yeah, that's actually really good for him.
I really thought he was going to swap the factory and the barracks and just have the same reactors there. I was like, that makes no sense.
That would have been
weird.
No. Well, the Overlord actually gets some great scouting going. The upgrades are really lined up here.
Yeah.
So they're going to be even on upgrades. We'll see how good they are at actually continuing into 2-2 quickly. And Bomber's just really focusing on Marine production right now.
You can see he's got a nice little wall in up here. This should be a pretty long game, by the way. This map does allow for some very epic TVZs. It's hard for both sides to keep some of their expansions up.
Yeah, like those side ones can be really difficult to keep
tricky,
up.
Yeah.
But the 4 bases are pretty easy, which is why the games on this map really do get kind of crazy.
That's very true. Yeah, but once you get outside of those 4 bases, it's really tricky to try to hang on to those.
The amount of things you can do off 4 bases, though, it's going to be wild.
4 bases is just about all you need.
Yeah.
But if the game starts to go on longer, resources start to dry up.
Well, we do have Widow Mines in production, so Bomber definitely playing Heart of the Swarm here.
Right.
Not mistakenly playing Wings of Liberty. And everything looking pretty standard for these guys right now. Now, with that Baneling Nest on the way and the layer finishing up, I do think we're going to see Baneling speed immediately for RorO. That's very popular right now, you know, without siege tanks coming into play as much. But actually, he made 2 Widow Mines, and now he's making another add-on with that. I wonder if he's just saving Widow Mine production for a bit later. He might just be making all his add-ons with...
he might have this all timed out so that he only needs Widow Mines defensively. I mean, you could actually stop... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think for sure he will do Widow Mines, but maybe not quite yet. I mean, I guess there is the chance of like a parade push of just Marines.
Yeah, parade push is possible as well.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see if he really does only use Widow Mines defensively, because they are so popular to use in your attacks to bait units back to them.
When you get a guy